So I updated the unified chart of account, and I would like to share with you where I come from, how I think first. So let me share with you the slides. So let's read this slides. Newspaper is better than a magazine. Seashore is better than a street. Even young children can enjoy it. Birds seldom get too close. Rain, however, soaks in very fast. One needs a lot of room. Well, now let's read it. Kite. Newspaper is better than a magazine. Seashore is better than a street. Even young children can enjoy it. Birds seldom get too close. Rain, however, soaks in very fast. One needs a lot of room. So you see the difference, right? The first time you feel confused, what are you talking about? All scattered. Now we have a context called a kite. Then it all makes sense. So this is an example. This is how a chart of account looks like, alphabetic order. How do you feel that? Does it tell you the story? Now let's reorganize it. Now we can see the story. It's about a residential rehab program. You have the primary staff, mainly the counselors, and then you have the consulting staff, and you have the resident service, and then the admin. All right. So that's what I mean by context. And context could be a mindset. For example, you could say, hey, I did a budget and I can't afford a dog, right? But you can also say, hey, maybe it's a constraint that I'm creating for myself. How about I create a future? The future hasn't started. So we think it's important to have the context first, and then you have a habit of proactively creating your future, and then you systemize, you create a system to create your story and then unfold your story and monitor your milestones. So this is an example of a system we create. You have the revenues, you have the expenses, and then you have different programs, so by program. And then this way it's very organized. When you do the audit financial reports, you have a program expense and admin expense and fundraising expense. And also when you do the 990, everything is there. Okay? And then this one is by funder or by grants, because some grants, they want you to submit a report every quarter or every year, how you used their money. So we use a three-dimension chart of account. So you have the natural account, and then you have the business, or you can, or use a funder in your case. So you can also, or you can, in this case, for profit, you can use business. For non-profit, we can use different programs. And then here we have the, for profit, we can look at the strategic partners or projects. And then for exempt organization, you can look at funders, also partners, projects, you can do that. So really you think system from top down, what do I need? And then develop a key financial statements, and then establish a solid chart of account. So then you build the chart of account first, and then you develop the financials, and then you get what you need. So this is how we think, okay? And then I would like to look at the chart of account. So this is a unified chart of account, and I'm grateful our predecessors at Cal CPA, and also we want to thank California Association of Nonprofit for sponsoring this project. So this is called a unified chart of account, and I have been using this for clients, and I simplified and also updated for the Form 990 2019. So I want to share with you how I simplified it. So first, the cash is fine. Accounts receivable, I got rid of the doubtful accounts receivable. In my practice, I found most nonprofits don't book doubtful accounts receivable, and you usually use direct write-off method. So let's just keep it clean. And same for the pledges and grants receivable. So before you have the pledges receivable, grants receivable separate. So I actually get rid of the grants receivable and use just one. I think I found that one is enough. And it's also on the Form 990, there's only one line item. And the doubtful accounts, let's get rid of that. You barely use that. And then other receivables, we still have that, employee and trust receivable, other disqualified person receivable, notes, loans receivable. Again, these, rarely use it. So if your company doesn't use it, just don't need to use it. And other assets, the inventories. So before we have inventory for sale and then inventory for use. So I combine them together, okay? And then prepaid expenses and accrued revenue before was together, was separate, so I combine it together. That's how it shows on the Form 990. And I try to combine these together because eventually on Form 990, you have to combine them together. And a lot of times I found that organizations don't have much prepaid expense or deferred changes. There's only one transaction for the rent or for the insurance once a year. You probably know that already, so there's no reason to have so many accounts and book them. Even if you want to look at detail, you go to GL and that one transaction. And the investment, we have the securities, we have other securities, the program-related investments. So these are all from the Form 990. So we still keep there. Investment, others, we keep there. So these land held for investment, building held for investment, we really don't need that. First of all, it's very rare too. If it is investment, then we just call investment other, okay? We just put it into investment because this is confusing to the actual operation land and building that we have, okay, furniture. These are all fixed assets. So investment, if you have land or building, you just put it into investment section, okay? And of course, accumulated depreciation, we put in there. And the other long-term assets, split interest agreement, rarely have it. So, but we could put there arts collection, and we can put there fund held for others, we can put in there. If you have, if you don't have it, you don't need to use it. So the liabilities, accounts, again, accounts payable and accrued expenses, I combined them together. Before you have the accrued expenses, all of these, I don't think we need that. And if most people have payroll and the payroll company take care of the liabilities, we don't have to book it, okay? And then even in the year end, if we need to, strictly saying according to GAAP, you want to book accrued payroll, but most of the organization, it's fine, it's just 1 year trade-off, it's not much difference. So I say simplify it, why bother to book it and then reverse it, okay? So I just put it this way, and the grants and allocations payable, so we still put it in there. And I got rid of all of these deferred revenues because you can just put it in here. And then short-term notes and the long-term and the loans payable, so we still put it here. So here, escrow and the custodial account liability. So previously it was here, but I moved here as a current liability. The reason I do there is nowadays you have to issue a liquidity analysis. And so escrow usually is a current assets. So I put into current assets there, okay? And then these are still there, trustee expense, these line credit, the current portion of long-term assets. So these long-term assets, these are still there. And the equity really now, we call just net assets without donor restrictions. And if board want to have, designated net assets, designated use, you can do that. Most board don't have that. And then we have the net assets with donor restrictions. Now, endowment, I think it's still special. I think we should put into a separate one. endowment. Now, contributions and support, again, I made some big changes. So the revenue from non-government agencies, these are corporate, foundation, nonprofit. These we already have it here. So it's a repetitive, so I got rid of that. And then split interest agreement. These are not, it's confusing, they are repetitive. So if it's a corporate contribution, you just put here, okay? If it's individual small business, just put here. I think that's enough. And then revenue from indirect contribution, it's the same way, even if it's indirect, but if it's individual, you put into individual. So these are things that I, strike out. And then also here, the revenue for government grants. Government grants, just government grants, and lots of times we don't have much government grants, so I would just put into here. Now, if you are heavily depending on government grants and you have federal, state, local, and it's important for you to separate them, to keep track of them, fine, you can use that. Okay. So that way it makes more simple. So basic contributions, membership due, fundraising, events, and individual, small business, corporate, legacy, and bequest. So that's the main one. And then of course we have the in-kind here. So again, revenue fee from government agencies, these are contracting fees. I think these contract fees are usually program service fees. So I just put into here, program service fees. So all of these are put in. And then membership fees, I think membership, if you're a membership organization, these are program service fees. Now, if you want to keep a track of specifically, you can create a sub-account here. So I strike these out to make it simple. And then investment. So these are rarely used unless you are, quite asset-heavy nonprofit. So, but if you use it, then we can just use these. This was in line with the report for 990. And all of these are for the 990 report if you have investment. And the special events. Special events, we can put it in there because there is a requirement for special events report in the form 990. So we can just put it in there. Okay. And then I striked out these because it's rarely used. We really don't have much of that. But if in case you use it, we can use it. If you have investments, you need to keep track of the unrealized gain or loss. The expense side, again, I simplified it. Grants to other organizations, grants to individuals. So these are the things I just strictly according to the form 990. These are each line. I just have one expense. Okay, and anything else, I think we don't need to keep track that detail. So, and then here salary related expenses. Also, we just have the current officer and director, and then former officers, directors, and family member. I say family member because the IRS requires us to report a disqualified person. Disqualified person means people who are related, who are former directors, or who are family members who can influence the organization significantly. So these are the group of people. So and then salaries and wages, others, and then pension plan, contribution, employee benefit, payroll tax. Okay, and then contract services. So that we listed out according to all the line items on the form 990. I think that these we keep it because I think more people will use that, and I really think it's a good cost-saving, effective way of running the organization. And then the non-personal expenses. Again, these are all shown on the form 990, so I listed it here. And then these are all office expenses, so I don't think we needed to list so detailed, so I strike them out. I just put into office expenses. Postage, telephone, you can just put these there. And then here, it's just, in the IRS, it's just one occupancy. So I think we just put into one occupancy here. And then, depreciation there. So And then travel and meeting again in the form 990, you have this travel is the main one. This one I should not strike out. So this will keep there. This is the main travel, but we can use this one as the main travel and then the payment to others. So this, I think we should not strike out. This is travel. So I'll clean up this. And then other expenses. Here, these are interest, payment to affiliate. So before payment to affiliate was here. So because this one is in the form there, so I just put into here. Okay. So this is I think it's line 12, line 21. And then insurance and other expenses. So here's other expenses. This is where I think we do not need to put these here to confuse organizations. So I would love to leave this blank. And this is where the organization will put program-specific information. Okay, so like I have a client who does animal care, right? So then you can put there, animal care expenses here. You can put food for animals, people. You can put whatever that's related to that, fence, all of these. So this is where you tell the story. I think that's where we need. So all of these, I think by putting in there, it's confusing. We don't need that. So all of these, non-GAAP expenses, if it's non-GAAP, why we put in there? We don't need it to use that. And capital purchase, well, we just capitalize it. We don't need to use these, okay? So these I cleaned up. And here, these are the programs. So the programs, well, in the form 990, there are only 4 lines. The last line is other program service activities. So I striked out this one and then put this one as the last one. So we can use. And then also management and general, let's just put all these together one. We don't need to separate all of these. We try to keep simple. And same split interest, all of these. I would delete these. And then fundraising, again, we just put 1. So that's what I'm thinking. So I hope by doing this, it's more simple. And my goal is actually to make it, eventually I'm going to clean up the format and make it, you can use a separated data file where you can actually import to QBO, QuickBooks Online, so that you can design your chart of account here and do it here. And my ultimate goal is actually talk to QuickBooks and see if they can actually put into the system as a default program. So if you choose Form 990, then it automatically use this chart of account. And then of course, you can customize like program, what program, right? Specific program you can use. So yeah, that's the idea. Or if Intuit doesn't want to do that, we maybe create an app that can talk to Intuit, and then you can import that. So, but otherwise, the easiest way is we can always import the chart. So hope that will improve some efficiency and clarify some confusion, because I found the previous unified chart of account, I appreciate the predecessors, they spend time and make it very detailed, but I think also it's confusing because it's too complicated for most nonprofit organizations, because the majority of nonprofit organizations are small and they don't have the manpower to do it. And so if we use a complex uniform chart account, it's confusing to them. And then sometimes they feel like, oh, maybe this is something we have to follow strictly, and it's a waste of time and energy, and it's confusing. So hope this simplification will help organizations to streamline the accounting process and improve some efficiency. Thank you.